All right, let's move on, man. Let's go. Let's play this would you rather stuff that you got set up for me. Why don't you go ahead and shoot it off, and you get it going first.
Okay. All right. We'll get it going first.
Go ahead.
The very first would you rather
Yeah,
is we're gonna make it real easy. Zach Wilson or
Zach
Sam
Wilson's
Darnold.
mom. Nah,
No,
I
but
was
Zach
like,
Wilson's mom's friend. Not his
ooh,
mom. His mom's friend.
I'll take both at this point. No, Zach Wilson or Sam Darnold.
hmm
Uh, Zach Wilson, dude. I would have to go Zach Wilson because
Why
he's
is Zach
just
Wilson over Sam Darnold?
because you've already seen what Sam Darnold's been able to do with two franchises, and it's none too impressed, you know. And I feel like Zach Wilson just because he's a promising prospect, he's still super
hmm
raw, super talented, super strong, super fast. But I feel like Sam Darnold kind of puts you in handcuffs already based on what we've seen from Sam Darnold. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So just because Zach Wilson is still really raw, like because you see what we were able what the Bills were able to do with Josh Allen. Josh Allen's
hmm
first year was terrible. His first 2 years were terrible, and then
Right.
just out of nowhere just turned it on the third year. So I feel like that's still a possibility for Zach Wilson, if they're
Okay.
able to clean it up there in the Jet or in New York.
All right. Let's move. Let's move from East Coast to West Coast now. Okay. So you picked Zach Wilson. So we'll stick
Mm-hmm.
with Zach Wilson or Drew Lock.
Who? Um, Zach Wilson for the same exact reason, because we already saw what Drew Lock was able to do. I saw some of his games when he was over in Denver, dude, and it's just he would have little spells of where he would just like,
hmm
oh, he looks like the real deal, and then
He
he
looks
would
like a
just
legit quarterback, like a
and
guy
then
that
he
can
would
win in the NFL.
exactly, and then he
And
would
then he
just
went full
do
Drew Lock.
something that was just big old question mark on your back, like just like,
Yeah,
dude, what are you doing? Um, I'll give you this one: Drew Lock or Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. He won a playoff game.
Mm.
I
Just based off
mean,
the
I
the
mean,
playoff game.
just based off the
That's
one
your
playoff game.
argument.
I mean, he took the Browns to the playoffs, man. I mean,
He
what
did.
the Browns went what like 18 games in a row without a win or something crazy like that,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
then kind of I mean, he did turn the franchise around.
Right.
But then he peaked after that. As crazy
Mm.
as it sounds, like he turns the franchise around and then he peaks and then they get him better weapons and then he does worse. I don't know. Um,
Mm.
I think I don't think Drew Lock could ever do what Baker has
Mm.
done, but they're
Mm.
both pretty shitty right now. But
All
based
right.
off of experience, I'm taking Baker.
Okay. Um, that one's interesting because I feel like Baker he took him as far as he possibly could.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
peaked.
like he was. It's almost like he was that bridge quarterback
hmm
without having a replacement ready, which is why they broke the bank with Deshaun Watson,
hmm
which that saga can be a whole nother video too. I mean, we've
Hey,
done
dude, he showed
plenty.
up to training camp.
He did, and I guess there's some rumors saying that the suspension looks like it's going to be like 6 to 8 games, but then
What?
that's what the rumor is.
What?
That's what the
If
rumor
only
is.
someone said that on this podcast like a month and a half
However,
ago.
there's still so many things going on that they're still pushing back on it, and there's a lot of people trying to push for the whole year, if not more. And
Yeah,
so
we'll
it's
see.
still up in the air. Um, let's go ahead. Let's move on to receivers. I kind of want to see your opinion on this one.
All right.
Would you go C.D. Lamb or
CD Lamb. See, just kidding. Go ahead.
C.D. Lamb or Jamar Chase? That's a tough one, right?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Only because I think they play two different positions. I think CD last year he struggled when he was the wideout after
At their
Gallup when
Gallops. Yeah.
Gallup's injury, they moved him to wideout, and he really struggled. I
Mm-hmm.
think he's a really good slot receiver. I think that's where he excels.
Mm-hmm.
He can really break off into space. He's not that much of a deep threat. Um, and I think Jamar Chase is the opposite. I think Jamar
Mm-hmm.
Chase is the deep threat. He beats you with the speed.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna go biased. I'm gonna go CD Lamb.
You gonna go C.D. Lamb?
I'm gonna go CD Lamb.
Damn, man. All right. Let's go. So C.D. Lamb won that one for you. C.D. Lamb or
Don't say
uh,
Justin Jefferson. because they're not in
No,
the
no,
same
no, no,
class.
no, no. C.D. Lamb or Debo Samuel? Who would you
Oh,
take?
Debo. Right now, Debo.
Because
Debo. I
he's
mean,
because of high
that
dynamic
dude.
he is.
That
Yeah.
dude's a 5 tool threat. I mean, if he could be a 6 tool threat, he'd be a six
Hmm.
tool threat. Like that dude does everything.
And then
I think,
he's like a wrecking ball too.
dude,
When he gets
he's
one on one with
massive.
some of those DBs, dude,
Yeah.
he's tough
He's
to take
so
down.
big, he's strong, he's
Hmm.
fast. He can create separation, he can run the
Right.
ball, he's got vision.
Hmm.
He can throw the ball, he can throw for touchdowns.
That's true.
I mean, that dude does just about everything. Niners just gotta make sure that dude don't get hurt, which probably means less touches in the backfield.
Okay, I'll make it even tougher on you.
That
Debo
one wasn't that
Samuel,
tough.
Debo Samuel, or Devonte Adams. That that one's tough, right?
That's tough because I think Devonte Adams is probably you. I don't think he is the best receiver in
Hmm.
the NFL this upcoming season, but I think that there could be an argument there that he is. Um, are we
Who
doing?
would you
Who's their quarterback? Like, do I get like any quarterback?
any quarterback? Just any quarterback.
Mm,
Just overall, just I mean, just better receiver.
better receiver, Devonte
Hmm.
Adams.
Hmm.
I think
But who would you go with?
like if I had a draft like and those two names came up on the board
Right.
with Debo, as much as I
Hmm.
only because he's a 5 tool guy. Because even if he's not excelling at receiver, I can move him
Hmm.
somewhere else. If he's not excelling at wideout, let me put him in the slot. If he's struggling in the slot, let me put him at running back for a couple
Hmm.
plays. Devontae, he's not one dimensional, but he can only play wideout. So
Well, yeah, of course.
I don't know. I think if you're looking at just
Hmm.
receiver alone, Devontae Adams for sure. But
Hmm.
overall, like the player, I'm going to go with the more of the athlete, Debo.
Hmm. I would honestly still go with Devonte Adams,
Really.
because I've already watched Debo throughout his entire career. He's really honestly just had the one good year, which was
Hmm.
this past year. Which, don't get me wrong, awesome year. I think it was Mike McDaniel's the one who actually had the idea to start putting him in the backfield, even though the
Hmm.
Niners have a plethora of running backs. Um, Maybe it comes down to maybe the quarterback, just because Jimmy G was there and kind of had
Well,
trouble
fuck. I mean, can you imagine if he had a
trying to
good
get the
quarterback?
ball. Oh yeah, like if Debo had Aaron Rodgers, just like how Devontae had Aaron
Hmm.
Rodgers, then okay, maybe we'd be having a different conversation when it comes to receiver. But I would still honestly, if I were to go ahead and like starting a franchise today, I would still go
Hmm.
with Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams will be the best receiver in the NFL this year. After
You
this
really
year,
think so?
dude, I've been saying it for
Mm.
the last 8 months on this podcast. It's different with Derek Carr, man. Once he has Derek Carr, it's all over, dude. He's a different breed, and Derek Carr is a better quarterback with Devontae Adams. I mean, those two tore it up in college. I got very very high hopes for them in Las Vegas.
What does that say about Aaron Rodgers? Like, I mean, what do you say? Like Aaron Rodgers
It's
and
not
Devontae
it's not
Adams
necessarily
didn't.
it's not necessarily Derek Carr is going to be superior than Aaron Rodgers. I think just the
Mm-hmm.
chemistry is there. It has a lot to do with like what we talked about with Cristiano Ronaldo.
Mm-hmm.
He is still a top 5 player in the world right now, but he's having a tough time finding a team because people don't necessarily have the right fit for him, or
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to invest in him with the amount of money that they got to pay.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a chemistry thing, I think, between Devontae and Derek, and Devontae and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, great quarterback, and he did really well with Devontae. I just think Derek Carr, they're on the same wavelength between the two of them.
My counter argument to that is Derek Carr is going to do Derek Carr things. Yeah, he is an awesome player. He's a good, solid quarterback, but he's still going to have those moments where
Mm-hmm.
he overreaches. He tries to do a little too fancy things to where he ends up making a mistake. The thing I feel like one of the differences between him and Rogers, as Rogers doesn't make those dumb mistakes, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
any sense.
Yeah.
Derek Carr does. Like we've seen plenty of his games. We've seen plenty of situations where he panics and then he just goes to his outlet and his outlet's not there, so he turns the ball over. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or he'll reach for like an extra yard and he'll fumble the ball, or
I think I do think Derek Carr's biggest fault in his career so far is that he tries to put everything on his shoulders. He tries to go above and beyond more than what he's capable of doing. And I think with Devonte Adams, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to try to be that guy anymore. It's gonna really help him out. You know.
And also too, man. Let's not forget that Derek Carr has had some accuracy issues too in the past.
Oh, for sure.
And I understand what you're saying with the chemistry between him and Devontae. It's going to be there. No doubt they're going to have some great games together. But I feel like there's going to be situations where he's going to be looking Devontae's way all the entire time and
Hmm.
not go through his progressions, not go through his reads, and then just make a mistake. And the thing is yeah, Aaron Rodgers kind of did the same thing, but Aaron Rodgers' accuracy is just through the roof. Like we've
Yeah.
seen situations where there's a DB legit grabbing Devontae's hand, and he's still able to put the ball right in the perfect place where only Devontae can
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
And I feel like Derek Carr is not going to be able to do that.
Interesting stat though for you.
Mm-hmm.
They both have the same number of Super Bowl wins since Derek Carr entered the NFL. So just throwing that out there.
Who do you mean?
Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers, they both have the same number of Super Bowl wins since
Oh, since
Derek
Derek
Carr entered
Carr's
entered the NFL. Just throwing
yeah,
that out
but
there.
yeah, but he's also got a Super Bowl ring already.
Yeah,
and
but
he's been and
he
he's
did it
been
before
to
Devontae
and he's been to what, two or three NFC Championship games after
and
that.
choked them all away.
Yeah, he did. But to be fair, it was against the Niners. So
Yeah, he lost at home to the Niners and lost to a team that didn't score one touchdown.
right. All right, let's go ahead. Let's move on. Before we go do that, this meeting's gonna end. Do you want to go ahead and just start another one?
Sure, if you
Yeah.
want.
Okay.
How much time do we got left?
4 minutes.
Are
Or
we
you
gonna
want to
do
just?
more than four? Were we gonna do more than 4 minutes?
I don't know. Are you almost done, or do you want to keep going?
No, I mean I think we can cram in a couple more in 4 minutes. And is
Okay.
there any other topics?
No, that's about it, dude. Like I said, dude,
Okay.
it's really dry. I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean,
other than just a couple of franchise moves,
mhm.
nothing big, nothing major out there.
Yeah.
Um, Go ahead. Did you have another? Did you have another one?
Okay. We're sticking to receivers right now. Okay, so you picked Devontae. Okay,
Oh yeah.
Cooper Cup. Devontae or Cooper Cup? Who you got?
Whoo, shit, that one's tough too. Um,
I side note, I do feel like Cooper Cup should be a little insulted that he's only 98 Madden rating and Devontae Adams was a 99.
99. Yeah.
I mean, the
Um,
dude was a Triple Crown winner last year and
that's
is
what
ranked 98.
that's what I'm saying, dude. It's just I would say that maybe Devontae is the better prototype receiver, like the
Mm-hmm.
one, like if it was a receiver you were actually like creating in Madden, like your own player, that's the guy you would create, right? Would be
Yeah.
Devontae Adams. You got the dreads, you got the size, the strength.
It's not
uh
racist at all.
I know, right? um but Cooper Cup, dude, I feel like he's a little bit more versatile than Devontae
Oh,
is a little
dude,
bit,
yeah.
right? So I honestly would probably go Cooper Cup just because of
I
the year
I
that he
think
had
so.
last year.
I
Yeah,
think Cooper Cup is the best receiver in the NFL right now.
I
I
agree.
mean,
Yeah,
he just did everything well last year,
yeah.
whether it was create separation, yards after
Hmm.
catch, total yards. I mean, that dude caught everything. He got hit in the
Hmm.
backfield and he kept going. Not to mention, I don't know if you remember, you saw that interview he did after one of the games. The way
Hmm.
that dude was breaking down the defense, 25, 30 minutes after the game was over, he was
Yeah,
still going through the entire play in his head. It's
yeah.
just a different breed, man.
When he sounded like Boomhauer from King of the
Yeah.
Hill. Yeah, I remember that. That was good. Um, no, yeah, I agree. I think he really is the best receiver in the game, and when you put up that many yards, when you take the triple crown home, and win a Super Bowl on top of that, and Super Bowl MVP, like yeah, he's the best, probably the best player in the NFL right now. Um, I honestly can't say who would be better than him right now. Like
I don't
who would be the better player? Like if we were to do like a ranking, I feel like he would be number one, right?
in receivers alone. Yeah.
In overall in the NFL.
Oh, overall in the NFL,
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
best player in the NFL, you got Cooper Cup,
I
not
think
Aaron
so.
Donald.
I think so right now, dude.
So
Just
so
given
you're
the
saying
year that he had.
so you're saying let's just switch over to this game right now.
Hmm.
You starting a franchise tomorrow. You're picking number one overall, Cooper Cup.
No, because if I'm starting a
No
franchise,
quarterbacks. No quarterbacks. No quarterbacks.
okay, outside of quarterbacks, then yeah,
Outside of
Cooper.
quarterbacks.
Outside of quarterbacks, then yeah, Cooper Cup.
Yeah.
Like if I were gonna pick a quarterback, it would be Patrick Mahomes. Like I mean, I feel like he would be the number one quarterback that
So
everybody
it's
would pick right
number
now.
one pick overall, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
What about you?
That's a tough one. Quarterback. I really like Josh Allen, man. If I had to start like right now, Josh Allen. Um,
He is beast.
yeah, but non. It's tough because it'd be tough to say like a defensive guy like Aaron Donald,
Right.
but
So you would go. So the player you would pick to start a franchise tomorrow, quarterback wise, would be Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I personally I love a quarterback that can sling it. I think he slings it a little bit better than Patrick Mahomes.
Really,
I do.
he's maybe stronger than Patrick Mahomes for sure. But I
I
feel like
think I think Patrick Mahomes he can sling it, but Patrick Mahomes has always had some great A targets at receiver and tight end. I mean, he's got some of the biggest safety blankets ever.
well, I
Um,
mean, Josh Allen has Stephon Diggs. He's a good
yeah,
receiver.
yeah, this last season, but I mean, he was still slinging the ball the season before that.
Yeah, that's true. I'll
And
give you that.
Stephon Diggs is not. I mean, Tyreek was a top five receiver. Stephon Diggs was not.
You don't think Stephon Diggs is top five?
No.
Four receivers over him right now.
Okay.
I know we're getting way off topic.
Devontae, Cooper
Yeah,
Cup.
yeah.
Um, I take Debo over Stephon Diggs right now.
Okay, and then Jamar Chase. That'd be those. Those would be the top four, right?
You really like Jamar Chase. I think he had, I mean
He's
he's
really, he's
great.
really, he's
He's
really
really
good.
good, but I need more than one standout rookie season. Just like
Okay,
Joe Burrow, right? Like I'm not like super hyped on the Joe Burrow train because he had one good first season.
I
He had a
think he's.
great season for a rookie quarterback.
He wasn't a rookie. Remember, he tore his ACL his rookie
Oh
season.
well, yeah, but I mean, it's his first full season.
I think he's gonna be legit. I think he's gonna be like an actual dude, like an
You think
actual
he's gonna be
quarterback.
a real
Yeah,
dude?
yeah, he's gonna
Okay.
be the real. I think Jabbar is the real deal.
I don't think he'll make a Super Bowl in the next couple of years.
Probably not. Yeah,
I think we got like this up and coming thing that he just had a standout season, and really he had a lot of things go his way, the
and
Bengals way,
well, it's just in the
down the
playoffs.
line. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but right.
Hmm.
So I don't know that,
He
but
made.
we're getting off topic.
Yeah, they made a run. Okay, so outside of quarterback, then who would be the second player that you would pick to start your franchise? Mine was Cooper Cup.
I think you're right. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
offensively, I mean, we can maybe go running, maybe a
Mm-hmm.
running back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I'm not going. I'm not going running backs anymore.
yeah, 'cause, I mean, the first thing
Yeah,
I was thinking of was Christian McCaffrey, but I was like, damn, that dude's hurt all the fucking time.
like I said,
Um,
it's like having a Ferrari that's always breaking down on you in
yeah,
the
I
backfield.
think you might have nailed it, Cooper Cup. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're taking out quarterbacks, you really don't want to go
Mm-hmm.
defensive guy. You don't want to. I mean, I think we can all agree that if we picked number one defensive player, Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're good. Go ahead. It's my sister.
So I
Uh,
said, boo, she's ruining it.
yeah. Drew says, "Boo! You ruined it." Um, okay, where are we going with this? Let's see. I feel like we got
Okay,
kind of
so
far away
we
from
did
the.
would you rather in the receivers, you want to jump over to running
Mhm.
backs?
The thing is man, there's really outside of Derrick Henry, man. What other superstar running back is there? I
Well,
mean,
let's just go with
other than maybe Jonathan
Jonathan
Taylor,
Taylor.
maybe than Jonathan Taylor, but outside of those two, man, I mean, Zeke is always hurt. Christian McCaffrey's always hurt.
I mean, Najee
Um,
Harris did pretty damn good for having a shit
Najee,
team.
but he wasn't a superstar. Neither was Saquon. Saquon's actually, I feel like Saquon's been a
Saquon's a bust.
bust.
Saquon's
Yeah,
a bust, bro.
like
Even when he's healthy, he's not
he's
he's
not
not
productive.
a
Yeah.
premier running back.
Mm. I feel like there's been better running back play out of like Pollard from the Cowboys has been better than Saquon. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
there's been a couple like Raheem Mostert has been better for the Niners. Even though he's had like maybe 2 good years. Um, but yeah, dude, this is just thing. Running backs they're a lot easier to come by than before. I feel like receivers
Mm-hmm.
is where it's at. Like if you have a stud receiver, like it's gonna be a lot easier for you versus having a stud running back. It's not the days where it's just like Barry Sanders. You could just hand it off to him and let him do his thing. The guys in the NFL are just way too athletic now. There's no way you're doing it. And then the defenses
So
are better prepared too.
so your argument really is just that the game itself has evolved. It's transformed into not being as reliant on the running back, not the running game, but the running back, that
Yeah,
person itself.
exactly, because I feel like nowadays you with the way have run games have evolved, where you could just kind of plug in any
Mm-hmm.
kind of running back. Given that there's different running backs with different skill sets,
Mm-hmm.
depending on that running back's skill set, they'll probably be successful in whatever situation that you put them in. Versus just having to completely rely like on a Todd Gurley or on a Adrian Peterson.
I think that there's um, three starting roles
Mm-hmm.
on two teams that are playoff teams, one
Yeah.
team that is not a playoff team but is still
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One being the starting quarterback position in San Francisco, who's going to start. Two, who's going to be the starting running back in Dallas, and three, who's going to be the starting quarterback in Carolina. You tell
Mm.
me. You tell me your starters.
Um, San Francisco, it's all Trey Lance. Like I said before, even Kyle Shanahan has come out and said that if it wasn't for Jimmy's surgery, he would have been
Mm-hmm.
traded. That's what he said. I think yesterday. Had it not been for the surgery, he would have been traded already. But because he needed to have the surgery, and he actually did it without letting the Niners know, that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like an fu to the Niners. Like fuck you, don't trade me. I'm gonna get surgery. Maybe that had a lot to do with it, but I feel like everything that's coming out of that organization right now is that's Trey Lance team. Like there were some rumors that they were like the reason they were keeping Jimmy around because Trey wasn't ready. Like I feel like that's all bullshit. I feel like they're gonna go ahead. They're gonna move on with Trey.
So is
Um,
Jimmy going to be shipped out?
he's either gonna get shipped out or he's gonna be released. Which I feel like
That's a lot of money to release.
I mean, they don't take really that big of a hit if they release him. I don't think they. I actually want to say that if they release him, they don't owe him anything.
Really?
Um, yeah, or like
He's got nothing guaranteed in his contract?
there's nothing guaranteed. All his guaranteed money had already been paid out up front.
Okay.
That's why I remember when it happened, they were considered geniuses because they're when they had paid him, they had nobody on their roster. Like they had George Kittle on his rookie contract. Same thing with like
Mm.
Fred Warner and stuff like that. But now they have superstars that they have to pay, like Debo, which is now they're still in contract negotiations with him. Uh,
He's the
they're
best
gonna
player on the team.
he's the
Give
best
him
player on the
whatever he
team.
wants.
Um, they actually just earlier today the Niners released D Ford, so that clears up a bunch of cap
They
space.
did.
Yeah, because I mean he's been a complete bust there in San Francisco. I remember they traded for him from Kansas City, and
Hmm.
he hasn't been able to produce much. Um, so so it's going to be Trey Lance's team. Like that's all the signs are pointing to that. Um, Kyle Shanahan was high on Trey Lance ever since he saw his film. They knew he was going to be the number 3 overall pick, even though that they didn't tell anybody when there was like this whole they're considering Mac Jones or who's it going to be. It was going to be Trey Lance 100% of the time. Um, in Dallas, I would honestly try to find a way to get rid of Zeke at this point. He's honestly been hands down terrible. I feel like, um, yeah, maybe he had the one good year, but
He leads the league in yards since 2016 still.
I would try to find a way to get him out because, like I talked about before, the game has evolved just so much.
Hmm.
And then you have the weapons like you have C.D. Lamb, you still have Michael Gallup there. Um, there's another receiver that I'm blanking out of in Dallas, isn't there? There's like one more guy. I feel like I'm missing out on.
I mean, you're not thinking of Amari Cooper, the guy that we
No,
just
Mark.
traded away.
Yeah, he got traded. I know that, but I feel like there's one more. Um, But other than that, and then well, Dak is playing like Dak. I feel like he's actually the real deal too. I don't feel like
Hmm.
he's anywhere near a bust or I feel like other people were trying to paint him as like a fraud or whatever. I think he's the real deal. He's an awesome quarterback, and in Carolina, man, I would honestly go Baker just because of the same arguments that you made. Maybe he can win games. He's
Hmm.
not good. He's not going to put the team on his back. He's kind of. I feel like he's kind of like in the same boat as Jimmy, where he's going to win you some games. But he's not going to do something super stupid like throw 4 interceptions in a game, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. You know.
Yeah. I think Carolina really is looking at it almost as if Tom Brady wasn't in the division,
Mm-hmm.
they would still have somewhat of a chance to win that division right now.
Mm.
Even with who knows who their
Even with
quarterback's going to be.
even with New Orleans there. I
Yeah,
mean,
because I mean, New Orleans, their quarterback is going to be Jameis Winston or a
yeah.
tight end, one
Mm-hmm.
one of the two.
Or
And
Taysom Ellis.
Jameis
Yeah.
Winston does Jameis Winston things. He's gonna win a game by throwing four interceptions
Yeah,
and
it's true.
180 yards, or he's gonna lose a game by throwing 4 interceptions and 180 yards.
Right.
It's kind of a weird
Yeah.
situation there. And
Yeah,
then
with Jim.
Atlanta's gonna be Atlanta.
Yeah, I feel like Atlanta's. I mean, they're definitely in the rebuild mode. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they have that stud there. What's his name? The tight end. Just drafted him last year or the year before.
Oh,
Um,
shit, I can't think of it. He's got
completely.
small number. He's like number
Yeah,
2 or 9 or
yeah.
8. I think he's 8.
Completely blinking out, but they do have Mariota over
Man, we're
there
pretty shitty at this.
for this being our source of income. No, it's not.
Uh,
Uh,
Fuck.
um,
Gotta turn off all the power. I'm broke.
right. And then the Bucks did pick up on Julio Jones, which I found interesting. I don't know why. It,
Just add another weapon for Tom Brady. He lost Gronk, so add Julio Jones.
yeah, I guess but I mean, it wasn't like Gronk was super productive last year. Yeah, he had his moments, but he wasn't like.
He's
Uh,
a safety blanket. I
yeah,
mean,
I guess he's a safety blanket, and maybe he's just a good distraction to have because it's still Gronk, and you still have to
mm-hmm.
respect where he's at on the field. Julio
So that
Jones, I think, is 100% past his prime. I feel like he's been on the decline for like 4 or 5 years now. Like
I don't know,
even
bro.
before he got shipped out of Atlanta.
I think his last season in Atlanta, he was still a top 5 receiver, and that was what, just 3 years ago.
Ooh, man, I wouldn't say that. Like he was. I mean,
Dude was a stud
he was a
in his
stud.
prime. He was a stud.
Don't get me wrong, but I feel like the injuries have caught up to him a lot faster than other players. Maybe because just the way his body is,
What
and
was
maybe
what
the
was
mileage on him.
what did Tom Brady love to do? He loved to throw to Gronk in the red zone. How big is Julio Jones?
Yeah,
That guy's 6'6".
but you still have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin
I know, but now you have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Julio
and
Jones
Julio
lining up.
Jones.
Now you're like, who the fuck is he going to throw it to?
I still feel like they didn't need him. I feel like
No,
well
no,
these
they didn't need him to compete. It's just a little cherry on top. Why not add someone that on a minimal salary that's just
yeah
going to add another question mark to the scheme? You're going to line up against these guys and you're going to be like, well, there's a guy that can get touchdowns.
yeah
There's a guy that can get touchdowns. That guy can run for a touchdown.
right
Who the fuck is? It's just adding to the
yeah
depth of their team. I mean, he could have 600 yards at the end of the season and call it a quality season
mm,
because he's really opening up Mike Evans
mm.
and Chris Godwin a lot more than you would think in the red zone.
maybe
Or maybe
like
he's open more because you're covering Evans and Godwin more. You're more concerned about two elite receivers and not concerned so much of a washed up receiver in the corner.
maybe too. Maybe it's just like you said. Maybe he can kind of serve as a distraction, and then just him being a distraction is good enough of it because you still have to respect Mike Evans,
Mm-hmm.
which I feel like now in the NFL there's going to be a lot more one-on-ones throughout the year. I feel like there's going to be less zone coverage and more man. Because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you see like a lot of the teams who actually ended up beating Brady, especially in the playoffs and in the Super Bowls, they played a lot of man against him. You saw what the Rams were able to do in the playoffs. They kind of just
Yeah.
lined up man. They rushed five, sometimes six, and they got to him. Um,
A
it's
lot of the best DBs right now are they're really receivers that are just converted into
They just
DBs.
decided
They're
to
just
play
ball
defense.
hawks.
Yeah, and I
They're
feel
just
like
ball hawks.
that's the way the game has evolved, which is like kind of what I was saying earlier. Is just like you're less likely to put your entire team on a running back, and then more likely to go ahead and actually just try to create mismatches on the outside, and then just find the open receiver, if that makes sense. Because it's a lot more likely that you're going to get on one with your best player and then their second best player on the outside versus you have your running back in the backfield having to go against all 11, if that makes any
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
And then if you just have a quarterback who's good enough to get the ball out there, that's all you have to do, really.
Mhm.
um, so for sure the receiver position has been a lot more valuable.